Hi everybody and welcome to Darvanalee Designs Studio. It is Saturday and we are in the studio today. So I'm really glad that you're all here and we're going to be doing some different things. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome to Saturday in the Studio with Nicole. Today we are going to be doing some patchworking, so let's get started. Alright, so I have a ton, as you can see here, a ton of Fat Quarter Shop blocks. I believe this was the 2018 Mystery Designer Block of the Month. I have done a couple of these blocks. I have put them somewhere so well that I cannot actually find them. So I'm going to have to go for a bit of a dig through all of my stuff because since then I've done some renovating and I've packed some stuff away and I've got a sneaky suspicion that they're down in the storage shed. So, because I have actually put a lot of UFOs and stuff down in there. So I'm going to have a bit of a dig around for that. So we have all these blocks here and basically I'm just going to open one up and I'm going to work on that today and I'm going to get this finished. Now when I got this I missed out on the finishing kit and I also missed out on the backing as well, so I've only got the blocks but I'll do something with it, and so you can come with me through the process of doing this, and I'm going to work on this every Saturday. We'll try to do it every Saturday, but hopefully I can get it finished as soon as possible. So today we're just going to work on one block. I'm just going to pull one out. I don't even know what it looks like. I've just got random ones. These were all just sitting in my cupboard. So basically I'm just going to pull one out. This one looks like a really good one. And I'll set the rest aside and I can work on them over the next couple of Saturdays. Alright, so this is a little bit of a different camera setup, so hopefully you can see everything that's going on. I've got my overhead camera happening and I have to stand on tippy toes to see what's going on with that, but it looks like it's okay in there. So let's get this open. I just need to find my paper scissors, which don't seem to be here because Savannah was out in the studio the other day. Oh, there they are. I'm just going to go grab them. Alright, so basically, yeah, I'm just going to open this up and start working on it, plug the iron in and start cutting it. So hopefully everybody has been enjoying the videos that have been going up in the last few days. Back with a vengeance for filming. Thankfully, they finally finished out the front with all the really heavy machinery and stuff like that. Like, it was that bad that the ground was actually vibrating. So I'm really glad that that is over and done with and it's gone. They've still got to do a little bit of work out the front for the nature strip and everything because there was a whole heap of water. We got rain and stuff like that, so they couldn't finish that. So this is the block that we're going to be working on today. It looks like a fun block to do, so I haven't done one like this before, so this will be interesting. Let's see how many mistakes I make. So I'm going to grab all my supplies. As you can see, I've got my rotary cutter, some pens and stuff like that. I'm going to grab my rulers and whatnot. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're working on as you're stitching or sewing along with me. So yeah, so I'm really excited to get these things done. They've been sitting around for quite some time. Actually, I should probably look when I got that one. We'll have the date on it. So this was August 2018 this was shipped out. So they generally send out their designer block of the months around about June, July, May, June, July, you start getting them. But I've signed up for this year's one and it's delayed because of all the COVID shipping problems and stuff like that. So that will be coming in the mail. I paid for the finishing and the backing so far. So hopefully I will start to see that soon. And then I can start that one. So yeah. Alright, so when you get these ones from Fat Quarter Shop, basically, as you've seen, it just comes in your little thing. Each block, Fat Quarter Shop are super generous with their fabrics as well. So this is all the fabric that we have to make one block, and the other blocks that I have made out of this one have actually had a lot left over. So yeah, so basically I'm not going to show the measurements as such, but you'll see me cutting them anyway. I don't know if this is still available or not. You'd have to go over to Fat Quarter Shop and have a look. But we've got some background fabric, and we've got the center fabric, and then we've got 2 contrasting fabrics. So that's what we're going to be working with today. So I'm going to grab all my supplies that I need, so my best press and plug my iron in and all that sort of stuff, and then that way we can start working on our mystery block. Now this one was block 3. So it's block 3, and this one was designed by Pat Sloan. So I believe that the designers, basically they have all different sorts of designers that design for them, and then that way you get a really good selection of people that you can work from, and then you can pick out your favourite designer, I guess, and you can go follow them and all the rest of it. Now everybody that's in patchworking, I'm sure you've all heard of Pat Sloan. If you haven't, you can find her over at www.patsloan.com. I believe she's got a blog there. She's also done the Splendid Sampler and all that sort of stuff as well. So her blog is very, 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 very much jam-packed full of stuff. You will get lost and spend lots of hours over there. She's got some fabulous stuff, so head over and have a look, and you can also find lots of different patterns and all the rest of it from Fat Quarter Shop. And I will say that this is not a sponsored video by either one of these. It is just something that I'm working on. I love getting the block of the months from Fat Quarter Shop, because they are just so generous. All right, I'm going to grab my iron and I'm going to plug that in, and so we can prep some of the fabrics, and I'm going to get cutting, and then we'll get sewing. So just bear with me for a second. I'll just grab all of my supplies. All right, so the iron is plugged in, and I've got my pattern, I've got my best press. All right, now hopefully you can see all of this is going on. Might actually just bring this camera a little bit forward, just so I don't have to stretch as far. All right, things in the way. All right, that's a little bit better. I don't have to stretch as far now. So that might be in the way of this camera. Hopefully it's not. I will just go and double check that. Not too bad. All right, it's not too bad at all. So I might just turn that just a touch. All right, so move this across just a bit. Look at me fiddling around and all the rest of it. You think I'd be ready by now. All right, so I'm just going to, basically all I do when I prep my fabrics is I just grab my best press and open it up and give it a bit of a spray and get it all nice starched and ready to go. So leave a comment down below, as I said. Tell me what you're working on. Are you stitching along with us, or are you patchworking with us, or anything like that? If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them on the next video, and all that sort of stuff. So what has been happening here? We've had lots of videos go up this week, which has been great. We've also I've also been spending a lot of time in the truck with my husband. He's back at doing his videos as well. He had a bit of a break. He was suffering from a little bit of burnout and all the stuff that was happening in the background. We sort of just had a little bit of a break, which was good. It's been really good for all of us. And yeah, we're back in a big way. He's putting up 2 videos a week now. Sorry about that banging, but that's my iron hitting my sewing machine. As I said, the roadworks are finally finished, except they've just got to come back and do the grass area. That's such pretty fabric. Very pretty fabric. Now, does it tell me who the fabric is by? Let me just have a look. So this fabric here is called Pineapple Bouquet. This one is called Tan Ditzy, and this one is called Strawberry Text. And then you've just got a cream solid for the background. Can't remember what they tell me inside. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me what the fabrics are. I can't remember exactly what it was. Alright, so I'm just having a look at the booklet. So we're using 1/4 inch seams, and it's got all my fabric cutting instructions there, and we are going to be doing some flying geese. I'm not a fan of flying geese, but we're going to be doing some flying geese. And we're doing double flying geese, and they're getting attached to the center square. And we're also doing, sorry, I'm just having a look through here. So we're doing flying geese, we've established that, and what's the other block called? This is called, well, our corner units are just got half square triangles, and it makes like a little bow tie looking thing there. Alright, so let's get these fabrics ironed, let's get this cutting underway. So what else has been going on? Not a lot really. Just a lot of stuff in the background. I've been doing a lot of planning for the channel and all that sort of stuff, which is great. So normally our Saturdays in the studios are usually an unboxing of some sort, but I decided to change it up a little bit, and we're going to be doing, just patchworking, and sort of get to see my madness that is my crafting, what I do in the studio when it's just me. So no one's home today. Everybody, Brendan's at work, Savannah's at work, Neralee's out looking for a job, so she's hitting the pavement and dropping out resumes. So hopefully she'll get some work soon. So you can see there is a lot of fabric here. So we've got plenty of fabric, plenty of room for mistakes if need be. So I might be able to get a couple of matching cushions or pillowcases or stuff like that. So for instance, this block here, I think the center block on the pattern, that is only 4.5 inches. So like just out of the corner, you've still got 3 left. So I'll be able to get a few out of that. So basically you've got enough room there to make a couple of blocks, and also yeah, you've got enough to make a couple of blocks, so you can make a couple of throw cushions to go with it when it comes time to finishing the quilt. I am very keen to find where my other blocks have gone. I think I've done 2. I think I've done 1 and 2, because this is block 3 that I've pulled out. And that was totally random. You've seen I just pulled it out. I didn't even look what I was pulling out. So, yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to go back and have a look, because I did 1 or 2 of them on a Finish It Friday. Because we used to have a Finish It Friday series, and that was a live stream that I did, and I used to pick something out of my UFO box and get that finished. So I had pretty much got everything done. So there was a couple of things that were new starts as well. So this block of the month was a new start, and yeah, but I stopped doing the Finish It Fridays just through time constraints, and then we went into COVID lockdown and all the rest of it, and I had pretty much finished all my UFOs. I was more starting things, and things that were series and stuff like that I was starting. So I decided to stop the live streams and just have a break from it, and just concentrate on doing other stuff, and just getting things organised and a new schedule up. So, and that's where we are now. So we're doing our doing all of our blocks over the Saturday period, and some of them will be live streams and whatnot. So you'll have to keep an eye out in the Facebook group, and if you're wondering how to join that, there is a link down underneath this video, and if you head on over, there's a couple of questions, not too hard, the questions, just answer, just so I can vet people before they come in, because we don't want trolls and all that sort of stuff happening in the group. So yeah, so head over and join the group if you haven't already done that. I'm just looking for all my bits and pieces. So I've got my 1/4 inch foot on there, and I'm trying to use up some bobbins, so because I need to clear up some bobbins for some projects. So I'm gonna use up that, and I've got white thread on the machine already. Alright, so basically we now have some cutting. As I said, this is a Fat Quarter Shop pattern, so I'm not going to actually be showing you the measurements or anything like that, but we're just going to quilt along and patchwork along and do a little bit of a chat and all the rest of it. So I'm going to start with the cream fabric and start cutting. I've got all my rulers, everything, all my thread snips and marking devices and you name it, I've got it. Alright, so now this is just me in my natural habitat, stitching away, doing the thing and all the rest of it. So as I was saying, we do have a lot of stuff happening on the channel. I want to learn how to make garments and stuff like that, so I thought that that would be a good opportunity here in the studio. On Saturday you can see me working along and making things and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if you can see it, I've got this like kimono style top on. I actually love this, but I'd like to make it not so much in a crochet style, but something a little bit more lightweight but heavier to wear in winter when it's not super cold but it's just a little bit chilly. So I'm looking at I've got some fabrics here and all the rest of it that I've been collecting over the time, so hopefully I can get a few of those things sorted and I can start making some garments, because I'd really like to. We've got to cut quite a bit of the cream. And I just needed a straight edge, so I was just, I've cut them a little bit bigger. And I can measure them up correctly in a moment. Now because I am actually trying to conserve my fabric, I'm just cutting one at a time. So that's probably going to be a little bit boring for you, but you know how it is when you're trying to conserve it. Because I'd actually like to make maybe some bolster cushions to go with this quilt. So and bolster cushions are the round cushions, for those that don't know what a bolster cushion is. So I'd really like to make a couple of those just to sit on the bed once I'm finished the quilt. So that'll be a really good way to pick my favourite blocks, I guess, and then that way I can have them to match. Because as I said, I did miss out on the finishing kit, so I didn't get the backing and I didn't get the finishing, so it is going to be a little bit different. I don't know how I missed out on it, because like I was going fine, and then basically for some reason I just ended up completely missing it. Alright. What else have I got planned? So the we've had floss tube go up this week, diamond painting go up this week. We've had our row by rows gone up this week as well, so that's been good. A lot of people were wondering when I was coming back. So, but as I said, with the roadworks, it made it very difficult to get things done, because it was so noisy, and it was like the whole house was just shaking when they were pulling the road apart. Like, there is no way that I could have done any videoing whatsoever. Okay, and alright, that was a weird way of working out the pattern. Another 3 of these. As you can see, I just sort of move the fabric around until I can get what I need out of it. And I am cutting because they're on the edges that are a little bit crooked. I just cut the strips a little bit wider, and then that way I can trim them down and get nice accurate squares and rectangles. Alright, so I'm finished with that piece, so I can pop that over there. And now I need to cut them up. Actually, I might just do one at a time because I've actually cut them big. Alright, I probably really should get a new blade. I love these Ultra, they're so easy to sort out to replace the blades. That's it, it's done. And that can go in there, and I can chuck that out and no one's fingers get hurt. Alright, so that's one. I've got to cut 16 of these. Oh, look at that. That is so much better. It's amazing what a new blade will do. Alright, so as I was saying, we've had the floss tube video go up this week. We've had our row by row go up. Thank you everybody for being so patient. It was out of my hands. There's nothing I could have done. I actually had no idea. It didn't even come in the rates notice that it was going to be happening. I actually had no idea at all that was going to be an issue. Had I known, I would have done a lot of batch filming and been ahead a little bit. And that's what I'm doing at the moment, because apparently they are going to be doing more work around the area. So I figured, well, I better get cracking, get some batch filming done, and schedule it up, and then that way we won't run into the same thing of running behind and just basically sitting around waiting for them to finish, because as you noticed, they took forever, which is very, very painful. I've been getting back into my stitching and all that sort of stuff as well. I'm keen to get back into my patchworking, and hence why I'm doing this. But as I alluded to earlier, I'm really looking forward to making a couple of garments, both in sewing and in knitting and crochet. And so I'm in the process of learning how to do all that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a couple of those sort of videos so you can see where I'm going with it all, and yeah, you can come along for the journey in my learning journey. So I've not done a lot of garment sewing at all, and Andra from Andra Makes is really encouraging me to give it a go. So I'm going to try. No, I've never really, like, I have made clothes before. I did go and do a class many, many years ago, and I made a set of pajamas. And when I say many, many years ago, that would be a long time ago. That was, well, my daughter turned 17 in October, and I was pregnant with her. So that was the last time I sort of made anything from a pattern, and I had an instructor there with me, so it was a little bit different because she was there helping me. I've never made anything just on my own from reading a pattern, so I figured, well, you know, I've been sewing and crafting for a long time now, maybe it's time that I do that. So that's what I'm going to do. I've been collecting clothes here and there. The problem is we don't have in where I live, I can't get clothing fabric. So like, I've got my quilting fabric, so I know I can use that for different things and whatnot. But things like rayon and, you know, like denim and all that sort of stuff, because I want to learn how to make my own jeans, because I'm sick of trying to find a pair of jeans that fits me. So over the years I have purchased some courses and stuff from the Crafty Gemini as well. So I've got those. One's for a bomber jacket, which we all wear, that style of jacket. So I've got some fabric in a cupboard that I purchased for that, so I'm gonna do that as well. And then I'm also purchased I think there was a legging and there was like a sports top one as well that I purchased, the courses that she had, and I've got the patterns here for it and some of the measuring devices that she uses and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get stuck into that, and I've sort of got the time at the moment because well, I do have a lot of time because Neralee's given up dancing, so I don't have to worry about that every afternoon now, because it was every afternoon that I had to be available for her, and so I don't have to worry about that anymore, and basically it's freed up a lot of my time. So, and with Mia being back with her mum, I've got a little bit more time. So these are things that I've wanted to do forever. Like, I can't even remember when that bomber jacket, when I signed up for that, it would have had to been, I don't know, some of you guys have done it as well, and you follow Crafty Gemini and all the rest of it, you probably have a better idea of when that was, but I'm pretty sure that was like 2017, maybe 18, I don't know, something like that, maybe even earlier. But she uses the Jarlee patterns, and I believe they're a Canadian pattern, and so she uses those. So I've got the patterns here and a couple of other ones that she done as courses as well. So I'm going to utilize her teaching and do those, so you'll be able to see those as they're going as well. Like, I'll probably go and make one first, and then learn all the different bits and whatnot, and then I can show you what it looks like, and then I will probably be a little bit more comfortable tackling something from another pattern on my own. So that's sort of the plan at the moment. My crochet, I do know how to crochet basic stitches and stuff like that. So what I'm wanting to do is to learn how to make garments and stuff like that. So at the moment I'm sort of looking for different basic garments, and I think it's Jenny King. She has some great patterns and whatnot, so I'm going to look to her to learn how to do some garments. So now I think I've cut that one too long, so just double check. Yep, this one was too long, that's right. So yeah, so basically I am going to look to her. She has some lovely cardigans and stuff like that, jackets and whatnot, and I'm a big fan of long crochet jackets. So I definitely want to make something along those lines, and knitting, well, that's a little bit slower, so we'll see how we go with that one. But I want to learn some of I've got a couple of books that have a whole ton of different stitches and stuff like that you can learn for knitting. I think there was one I've got like 400 different stitches, so I have talked about that before on my floss tube. So I want to make socks and I want to make some garments and stuff like that, but I'm thinking the knitting stuff will be more until my tension is just all over the place. So I'm just going to be knitting these squares from this book, and they're 400 different stitches, but they're the same stitches that are combinations to give you the different design and stuff like that. So I'm figuring that will help me get a little bit more my tension under control a little bit. So that's what I'm sort of looking at doing. And yeah, so basically I've got all that sort of stuff, and I've been collecting wool and sock yarn and all that sort of stuff as well for that sort of thing. And doing reading and watching videos and all that sort of stuff. I can read a pattern and know what it means and all the rest of it, but I just haven't learned how to put what I'm reading into practice. So that's what I'm sort of trying to to work out. All right, now I don't have a real straight edge on this, so I am going to just cut these a little bit bigger and then square them up. So that's sort of the plan at the moment. I also have some time earmarked down for some renovations to go and get my splashback and all that sort of stuff for up that end of the studio where the window is. And if you've watched my floss tubes, you'll see the window behind me. It's up where the floss is, and so I'm going to get a splashback, and then I'm going to concentrate just on that area for now to get those above cupboards and all the rest of it up, and then that way I can you know, just start getting these the overhead cupboards up and all the rest of it. So it's just driving me mental not having it ready to go. So, but you can see here, like, I've almost finished cutting this these fabrics, this floral fabric, and you can see that they give you just a huge amount of fabric. They're so generous, like, and I can't remember how much these were, but I've got all of that left over now, and that's even with cutting those squares a little bit bigger than what I needed. So you do get a lot of fabric. So from each one I'll be able to have a whole heap left over, and I'll be able to really make some cushions even for the lounge room as well. Maybe even make a table runner, because I've got quite a large dressing table, and it's wooden, so I can put a long table runner on that and have that matching as well. And maybe even some for my bedside tables, I can make a block and just have it as a little mini quilt there. So that is the plan, to have as much of the fabric left over. So I'm being very, very cautious of what I'm cutting and all the rest of it. And when I stop and sort of look over, that is me making sure that I'm cutting the right one, the right size. I always double check what I'm cutting so I don't make any mistakes. But even if I do, I've got plenty of fabric left over. And then I sort of just sitting them off the side and just making sure that they're the right size. And I didn't cut enough of these, so I have to cut a little bit more. That's fine. Bring these back over again. Too much talking and not enough paying attention. So just some of the things that to save me time, you can see here I've just cut a larger square. Now I have to cut four 2.5 inch squares. So basically all I'm going to do is, and these are some of the things to make it super easy and quick for me to cut things, because a lot of time I get questions about how do I fit so much into my day and all the rest of it. And the answer is I basically do a lot of production line cutting and sewing and all that sort of stuff. So you can see there that I've cut that in half, and now I've got my 2.5 inch going, like I'm lining up with the edge of the fabric here. My 5 inches are lining up with the fabric over here, and that cut line is underneath there, and it's come down 2.5, and I can just cut that, and then I've got 4 squares at 2.5. And that's how I cut my stuff super quick. Alright, that one just needs a little bit of a trim. And hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared for my Saturday next week. And if I work on this, I will actually have that already cut, and we can just get into sewing and chit-chatting and all the rest of it. Basically, I'm going to get rid of the selvage. So this has got a bit of a selvage. So this is another way that I cut as well. So I've got a selvage there. So I'm going to grab my long ruler. And because I've already prepped all this when we were starting, I know that I don't have to worry about ironing it or anything like that. So I'm going to get rid of that selvage. And I've got my fabric folded in half because I do have to cut multiple sizes. So I'm just going to make it super quick and easy for myself and stop boring you with all the cutting. And then I'm just going to take a little bit off this side here. Okay, so that's straight, and there we go. So that, now I have 2 sides that are nice and straight. So I'm going to cut my, and this is where I go to my little ruler again. And I think if you watched my block of the month tutorial, you would have seen that I really like my little ruler. It's absolutely fabulous. So And I'm going to cut multiples of 2. Actually, I'm going to cut these ones first. Okay, so that's those ones done. I'll just get this little bit up here, that over there, because you never know, might need something really small. And then this one is just going to get done and cut our multiples. To be honest, I don't really like this fabric very much, so I probably won't use this fabric again in any of the blocks. For those that haven't seen the information over on the community tab, we have a new upload schedule. So we are uploading as the Saturday in the studio one. So you already know about that if you're watching this already. But we're also got some other uploads happening as well. We have on Mondays, we have a Stitch With Me that will be pre-recorded. I used to do those as live, but I've got a lot of other stuff happening with my partner's business and whatnot. I'm not going to do them live for a while, just basically because I can record them, you know, on a Sunday evening or something like that, and then upload it for the Monday, or I can even record it earlier than that if I need to. Yeah, so that's just a time constraint thing that I'm trying to save myself a little bit of time. I've got that Stitch With Me going up. We have our sewing tutorials on Wednesdays. We have a new segment starting for Tuesdays in August. That is called Trash Tuesdays. So basically, it's anything that normally you would throw away or something like that, and I'm going to try and make something different out of it. And there'll be a tutorial how to do that. I'm sort of just experimenting a little bit. So you can see, like, you've got all this fabric left over, and I only need one of these. I do have to find the other ones, though, because I've already cut into them. And I'd like to be able to use the leftover fabric. All right, so we have all our stuff cut now, which is good. Everything is nice and accurate. I'm going to find my design board. I can get rid of that for now, but you can see here we have all our components cut and ready to go, and we are going to start sewing and marking and doing all the things. All right, where is all that? Yep. Okay, so that's all those, and I'm going to grab my design board, my very, very dirty design board. And I keep looking at the camera to make sure that I'm in shots. I know what it looks like. This is what it's going to look like. So basically we've got that centerpiece. I'm just going to set that on there. And then we're going to be making some corner. So this is a part of a block here. And then we've got 2 flying geese here. So I've got to make 4 of these units, and then I've got to make 8 of these units. Okay, so the flying geese are going to make it look like similar to the one that we did with the pinwheel on Wednesday. So it's got that outer border on it. All right, so I'm going to get started with the sewing. All right, so we are going to be making some half square triangles. All right, so I need to take 2 of these for each block, and I'm just going to lay them here so you can see, and then I'll lace them. I'm just getting all my ducks in a row, so to speak. Okay, how many times do you reckon I'm going to bugger this up today? All right, make 4. All right, so I can set those aside. They're out of the way. I'm going to need my trusty pen, and then I'm going to move these up here so they're out of the way. It's not those ones I need, it's these ones I need. Okay, that makes more sense now. All right, I'm with it, because I'm thinking, yeah, those squares are different. All right, so I'm just going to grab my little ruler where I don't know where I've put it. Where did that go? This one will do. All right, so I've just got to mark a diagonal line. So basically we're just going to be doing some half square triangles. So I'm just going to mark on the lighter fabric, which either one wouldn't matter, on the back, and then I'm going to pin them together, and then I'm going to do some chain piecing, and I'm going to stitch those and then cut them, and then we'll have our half square triangles done. So hopefully a couple of you, or a lot of you, have seen the block of the month that I did on our tutorial on Wednesday, and you had to go at your 45-degree angles. I did leave a link down underneath the video where to get this exact ruler from, so you'll be able to find that. That's a Creative Gravity ruler. Makes it super easy to do your 45s. Yeah, a few people commented that the block looked complicated, but they liked my video instructions because they were able to see what I was doing. All right, so we're just going to place them right sides together, and then I will just pin them. I don't even really worry about putting 2 in. Again, we'll do right sides together, making sure all our raw edges are lining up. All right, so what was I saying? Where we have Trash Tuesdays, that's coming in August, towards the end of the month that will come. And we also have our tutorial every Wednesday, so we'll be alternating between just a regular sewing tutorial and a block of the month. And then on Thursdays we have diamond paint with me. On Fridays we have floss tube, and then on Saturdays we have in the studio, and this is where we're doing all sorts of wonderful stuff. Alright, so I just have to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and if you've seen the video, if you don't know how to do a half square triangle like what I'm doing now, I'm not marking the dotted lines. I'm just going to use the line and my 1/4 inch foot, and you'll be able to see that in the video from Wednesday. So I'm just going to chain piece those through, and then I'll chain piece through the other side as well, and it just makes it super quick. I don't even know if you can see. I'll be able to just tilt it a little bit for you and you can see what I'm doing. You can also see the mess that is probably the mess that is behind the camera. Looks like a bomb has gone off in here. I was looking for stuff before I come on. And then basically all I'm going to do is go through onto the other side. So I just turn it around and I just start stitching again on the way back. I do make sure that everything is lining up properly. And sometimes my thread gets caught up. Alright, so that is that bit done. I'm just going to quickly cut them in half and then I will press them. So as I was saying earlier, if you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll check back for these, for the questions. And I also have a post over in the Facebook group as well, so you can also leave your questions there and I will be able to answer them in the next video. Alright, so we have that pressed. Pop that down there, because when the sewing machine's in the way, and I know that it freaks some people out when I have the irons really close. They sort of get a bit freaked out and think that I might be gonna burn myself, but it's all good. All right, so we need to square these up now, and I'm going to grab my handy dandy ruler, and as I've done with other half square triangles, I'm just going to line that 45-degree mark there and square them up. And, so yeah, you want to take your time when you're doing that as well. Like this is a really good video for those that sort of were watching and weren't 100% sure. You can just see me working on this again, and that'll give you a little bit more confidence when it comes time to doing your half square triangles. There are many different ways there's a couple of different ways that you can do half square triangles. So you can do them where you're just actually working with triangles and sewing them together, or you can do them how I've done them today. There's another way that you can do it where you put the squares together and you can sew all the way around and then you cut them and you've got half square triangles. I always get a little bit confused with that one on the math. For some reason the math does not want to work in my head with that technique, but yeah, you can always make the squares a little bit bigger, and you can, if you're not too worried about the little bit of waste that you might get, you can always cut those squares a little bit bigger and it'll give you room to move with trimming and stuff like that. So yeah, there is lots of different ways to do things, and there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. I personally like doing my half square triangles as I'm doing them today. It just makes it super easy for me. I don't really have to think about it or anything like that. If you get onto Pinterest, there are lots of different charts and stuff that you can find over there with all the math on how to do half square triangles. There's a lot of bloggers out there that have done tutorials and stuff like that for the different sizes, how to work out the math and all that sort of stuff. And you know, sometimes I get lazy and I just don't want to even think about it, and I'll go and find those. I'll just punch into Google, what size do I need to cut the squares to do my half square triangles, and I get the answer that I need. So if you don't want to work out the math, you can always do that as well. Makes life so much easier. So yeah, hopefully you're liking the camera view so you can actually see my face and I'll get used to it myself and actually start to look at the camera a little bit more and whatnot. So I'm just using my daughter's camera at the moment. It's not exactly the camera that I wanted to get, but it is, you know, sometimes you can't have everything that you want when you want it. You have to wait, and they say patience is a virtue. So I'm trying to be patient. But if you have noticed, as you've been watching this video, you've probably seen the tip jar roll across the screen. That jar is just a little donation jar for you to pop a couple of bucks in. And that's going to help with the channel. So basically what that does is it will help with giveaways. It's also going towards tech for the channel as well. So I can make it the channel a better viewing experience for subscribers as well. So my main goal at the moment is to get a good digital SLR camera. And that's what I'm saving up for. So the camera that I'm using at the moment, as I said, is my daughter's camera, and I'm hoping with any luck that by the end of the year I will have, or sooner, I will have a digital SLR, which means that my live streaming is going to be a little bit better too. I'll be able to do a lot more. I might be able to even do live tutorials and stuff like that as well. I have done them in the past, but I only had my phone at that stage. So and this camera that I'm using, that I'm looking at right now, it's not a digital SLR, so I can't use it as a digital camera. So that's why I want an SLR. Like, I've still got my phone, which I could use as a digital camera, and I have my one for my laptop, but it's not very good quality. So I want to get a better camera so it's better quality, and that way I can have, you know, my mobile phone used as a overhead, and then I can as a webcam, and then I can have, yeah, I've got it all planned. I've got the plan. I've just got to execute the plan. All right, so we've trimmed all those up, and now we've got to make our little components. And so I am going to lay these out so I know which way, because I am so directionally challenged like you would not believe. So I've got to make 4 of these. Okay. Excuse me. So I have to make 4 of these exactly the same way. So if you're following me on the socials, did you see all that beautiful lavender that I picked yesterday? It's like, check out the color of that. Isn't it absolutely divine? Like, I absolutely love it. And I've got some crafts and stuff that I'm going to do with it for the channel as well. So they're hanging there, and the smell in the studio is absolutely divine. When I come home yesterday, I had to go in the truck with Brendan. And when I come home yesterday, I walked into the studio and all I could smell was lavender. It was just beautiful. All right. Let's get this right, Nicole. Come on. You can do it. Just pay attention. All right, so we're going to create these little blocks for, they're the cornerstones of the block. So I'm just laying them out because normally, you know, when you do a bow tie, it would look like this. So you'd have your dark fabrics going into the center. But this one, they've got it going differently. So this is what I do when I'm doing a block. I just lay everything out and just treat it like a jigsaw puzzle, basically. And that way I know that I've got everything laid out correctly. And when I sew it, with any luck, I don't twist it. And we end up with the correct block. All right, so that's the 4, and I'm going to now sew these together. So basically, we're just going to put them right sides together, and I'm going to chain piece them. And like I do in my tutorials, I will just put a pin on the side that I have to sew, and then we'll chain piece those through. And it doesn't matter what order they go in, because we're only stitching down one side. We're just making our rectangles. Got lots of tutorials planned. I've been in the process of doing all the prep for those. So basically, I just have a ton of Ziploc bags with fabric and patterns and tutorial bits and pieces, the things, measurements, and all the rest of it that I need in there. A lot of the stuff is already cut, so that is good. So it's just basically grab a bag, start filming it, and then I can slowly edit them and get them uploaded. All right, so now all we've got to do is stitch them together on the side that I've put the pin, and I'm just going to do a 1/4 inch, and we're going to chain piece that through. The one thing I will say though is I really do like having my needle in the down position. It just stops your fabrics from shifting and giving you any sort of grief. I had a question about my vintage machine on one of my videos that I was using it, asking if it's ever going to come out and play again. It is going to come out and play again. I'm hoping to have it set up in the next few weeks once I get the the splash back done up the other end, and hopefully it will come back out to play, and we can you get to see her again. She is put away at the moment though. She's had a bit of a break. She's actually been put away for quite some time, and I do miss her. I really like doing my patchworking on that, so hopefully with any luck she'll be back out sooner rather than later. Okay, so you can see there I just had some issue with the fabric not moving under the feed dogs. You can see that it's just stitching in one place. For some reason this machine, every now and again, not all the time, just every now and again, starts doing that. So what I do is I just give it a little bit of a, that's why I like chain piecing, because I can use the other pieces to just give it a little bit of a tug, and it will feed through then. It's terrible for on triangles and stuff like that. It does it all the time, and that's why I use that leader cloth, because it stops that from happening. All right, so we are ready to press these. So when I'm sorry machine, I lifted it up too early. It beeps at me all the time. When I press these together, press the seams, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press to the I'm going to press it to the half square triangle. So I'm going to stay away from the cream fabric. So the half square triangle is now going to act as our dark fabric. So as I said, I'm going to set the seams, and basically what will happen is the half square triangles are going to be our dark fabric. So that's where we're going to press our seam over to. So I always sit that on top, and then I just roll that over. Okay, so it looks like the camera has shut off while I was recording, so that is not happening at the moment. So I'm sorry about that. The technology is eluding me. But you get to see what I'm doing over here, so that's all that matters. All right, so they're done. So now all we need to do is put these together. All right, so basically we've used our half square triangle as the dark fabric, and now what we're going to do is create our blocks. So that's where we just nest our seams, and we're just going to pop our little, I didn't want this to be a tutorial, but it's sort of turning into a tutorial and a bit of a chat, and it's a little bit, you know, a little bit different. All right, so I'm just going to pop that in there. I don't think I need any more than one in there, so I'm pretty lazy when it comes to pinning. For my tutorials, obviously I'm not. I, you know, make sure that I'm pinning properly and all the rest of it, because I'm trying to teach you how to do it. But when and people that know me personally know that I'm terrible for pinning. I just don't do it. But when I'm sort of doing this sort of stuff, where I'm working with triangles and I'm trying to get everything to line up and whatnot, I will always put one in where my seams need to nest, and it just makes life easy, less unpicking. All right. All right, so once we've got these together, I think I might call it a day. We've been hanging out for about an hour now, and we'll get these done, and then I'll probably set this aside because I've got a few things, I've got a few errands to run today, and then we might pick back up where we left off, and if I get a chance during the week I'll put it together, but we'll get these blocks together and yeah, call it a day. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video today and spent some time with me. I think I need to change my my needle on the sewing machine. It's sounding a little bit dull. Alright, so we now have those together. I'm going to grab my iron and I'm going to press these open, and that will be our blocks done, and then I'm going to call it a day. As I said, I hope that you enjoyed this video today, and we're doing a little bit of chit chat and you got some sewing in, and yeah. Alright, let me just set this seam and I'll trim off all my bits and pieces because I've got lots of straggly bits, but you can see there that it's just come together nicely. I haven't lost my point on that one anyway. And this one's the same, so it's looking good. Looking good. See them just there. All right. Now, if you like this video today, don't forget to give us a like down below. Maybe leave us a tip in the tip jar. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you won't miss out on any future posts. And I will catch you all again next Saturday for Saturday in the Studio with Nicole, and we will either finish this block off or start a new one. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today. See you again next time. Bye for now.